did another oopsie.
Oh.
I
Is it
really
the
hope
audio?
that all of our
No.
excellent banter
I forgot to start recording. It's
You
a
just
it's a
download the stream from Twitch.
no. That's
It's
more works. Anyway, back to podcast people. This is Aina. Then next to me is Rain. Then there's a War and Crit.
Yes,
You'll know
indeed.
their
Yes, War.
voice once it's their section. I guess. I'm sorry.
That's terrible. No, just hello, I am Crit. As easy as
There you
that.
go.
I am war.
There you go. Okay.
And I am Rain.
Alright, okay. Let's not
And
waste.
there, now settled. Let's get on with it. shall
I
we?
love this intro. We shall do this again.
Stop it! Anyway, next is the first up we have news.
Hello everyone! Welcome back to Tabletop today, where we talk tabletop topic today. So, first of all, much important news. As per every single D&D session, we always have a session 0, a backstory. So we always have, as usual, the Honor Amongst Thieves, the D&D movie, is having a prequel comic. That's nice. This one is being released. Oh, I can't remember now. I read this 2 weeks ago.
In February
But,
2022, in it.
There you go.
February.
February 2022.
February 2022
February
has gone
20
and passed.
Which is essentially a story, a backstory about the party where they have to deal with, if I recall correctly, what was it? It's kind of like an intro of the party where they have to deal with the Goblin Army, if I recall. Bandit King, that's the one. Where they have to repel the Bandit King that is attacking their village. And, being a D&D party, I'm sure shenanigans will happen. And that's not the only thing that the D&D movie have followed the traditional D&D, tradition. Another thing they did is they have to cancel the session and postpone it to a different week because the D&D Honor Amongst Thieves is delayed to May instead. And on March, they are, because apparently there's a conflict between like the new Scream movie and the D&D Honor Amongst Thieves. So Paramount decided to put Scream movie first. I mean, I'm not a horror fan, so it's like an obvious thing to me. I don't know about you guys, actually. Would you prefer the horror movie first, or do you prefer
Look,
D&D?
we're biased. We can ask our opinions.
Actually,
Yeah?
it's a larger market. That's the simplest thing. More people like horror
Yeah.
and Scream than they like D&D.
I
mean,
guess,
It's just
but like
a
fantasy,
smarter
but typical
business thing.
fantasy. I guess, fair enough.
I mean, but I have my own questions. Why is it
Uh-huh.
on March?
I'm
is-
assuming
what's
that
the-
is the start
is-
of summer holiday. I think that's why they want to push it there.
What?
Right? Is that
I
summer?
don't think so.
Yes, spring.
on
That's
March.
like July,
I'm
brother.
Sorry?
Yeah,
Yeah, this
summer's
is
in
spring,
July.
right?
Yeah.
I have no idea then. Why they would want to, but yeah, they had basically like the two had the same time, so Paramount decided let's not do two big movies at the same time because people are looking forward for these two movies. They put Scream first and they pull D&D to May. But that's okay because this one is like not on the news list. This is something I just want to mention. They are releasing official miniatures that you guys can buy on March 23 instead. So they have some like owlbear miniatures. They got some displacer beast miniatures that you guys can buy. Just consume, guys. Just consume.
Nothing of the main casts.
Nope,
We can't
sorry?
have a. There's no
oh
main
no!
cast.
Apparently, no.
miniatures?
That's the one that they give is an owlbear, a mimic, a displacer beast, and one more. It's the transparent box. I can't remember what you call that. The jelly. I can't remember what it's called.
Cube?
Gelatinous
Gelatinous
cube.
cube.
That's the one. Yeah.
I wanted my
When-
crisp
when-
in-
When I first saw it, it was like, wait, are they just selling a glass box? And then I realized, oh no, that's the gelatinous cube because there's like a floating, sword and everything inside it. Like, okay.
I mean,
Fair
it makes
enough.
more sense to sell those because that's the one that people will resonate to
Will
the
play
most.
in their campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compared to,
The
like,
others are kind of like
The
generic.
characters, it's just like who, you know what I mean?
That's true. Unless they put like Drist in there or something, one of the famous D&D
Yeah.
characters. But
Yeah, but I want my Chris Pine as a bard. I want my Chris Pine.
I'm sure more is coming. Although people would refer to those as action figures instead, I'm sure. But yeah, that is everything about the D&D movie. Surprisingly, a lot happened these past few weeks. Next, recently, Wizards of the Coast have released a kind of like revised an inclusivity process, basically. Because after the whole... Okay, for people who don't know, when they released Spelljammer, they also released a race called the Haduzi. The Haduzi race has some similarities to a certain history of a certain race, and a lot of people were angry about it. So they decided to, you know what? We're sorry. They have revised. They have hired a couple more people that will look into these kind of things, make sure they're not gone over. And then they have also recently released an errata, actually, that overwrites the current Haduzi's backstory and abilities, and also some other stuff as well, some monsters, and also it's one more. I can't remember what it's called. There's a monster, and they also updated one of the race called the Astral Elves. So yeah, that's it about the. What do you guys think about that? Actually, do you guys want to? Do you dare giving out your comments?
I'm afraid to be cancelled, honestly.
Okay, you see there's something.
It's also tiresome. I don't know. I'm not the one to speak on it. Being the white guy of this group, actually.
Fair
So-
enough. Fair enough.
But I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't see it. A lot of races and cultures have history of slavery and a lot of terrible shit happening to them. Really, I don't see the connection. But hey, if it makes somebody uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if enough people be annoyed
Yeah,
about it, I guess it's
exactly.
something to be updated. It because me myself, I couldn't care less as well. I honestly thought the backstory was pretty cool, like the whole rising up against the man and everything. I think it's pretty awesome. But they updated it. I think now they're just like a predator. They're like a weak race in a dangerous planet, and then they've managed to escape into the stars and so on. If I recall correctly,
That's
that's
exactly it.
stories. Yeah. So yeah, that
I
is
mean,
everything about the
they
wizards.
changed it for
Sorry.
half orcs too, right? Like because everyone was like, "Oh, hey, orcs are racist or something." Look,
That did happen.
I'm not sure about. I think it's more regarding the orcs being like stupid, and people
yeah.
don't, and like orcs have like evil connotation, and they don't want that.
something
To me,
like
that's
that.
one of one of the unique qualities of D&D and Pathfinder, I guess, along that line, because some creatures are innately aligned to a certain alignment. Some creatures are innately evil and everything, but what they choose to do with even that base is what makes them who they are, which again I think is really cool, because kind of reminds me of that Skyrim, which one is better, to be born good or to go through hardship to be good, so yeah,
I mean, that's also like Mewtwo, Pokemon, right?
exactly. Yes, Mewtwo, such a profound philosopher of our time. But yeah, that is everything about the Wizards debacle. Some fun stuff now, some free stuff, not free stuff, some things that you guys can look forward to. One of it is this level up advanced 5th edition that you guys can buy right now. That is, it's selling 3 books for $24.95, which is so cheap, because from my calculation, the total of the items that you're going to get here is about $100 already. So it's a big sale. Not one to advocate consuming, but I've been interested in Level Up for a while, mainly because they say they've reworked all the cast and everything for a bit. So I'm thinking I could buy it and then I could steal it and get inspired by it. I mean, yeah.
Well, you only have 19 days, 13 hours, 47 minutes to do
Oh
it.
my god! I better rush to buy it.
Oh shit!
Good Christmas present, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's a close good
Is
Christmas present.
Is this Rain secretly saying like, "Oh, this is what I want for Christmas"? By the way.
Coincidentally, my birthday is coming up.
I gift you one, you gift me one, okay? Deal. Alright, and finally, one of the coolest thing that may help with the stream has ended on my side, but it's
No,
okay. I'm sure
yeah.
Aina's going fine.
Yeah, like at some point you guys were it conked out, so but we're good now.
Is this the
It's
stream's good?
back, I think.
Alright,
I
okay.
think,
So that's why we record so that
Fair
this is
enough.
ongoing.
Okay.
So
Alright, okay. I
What
guess
the hell?
finally we have Edge Runner. You know the Cyberpunk Edge Runner? That shit is coming to Cyberpunk Red. So the whole story and everything, you will be able to play in the 2077, I guess 2076 setting.
yes, this is a year prior to the game.
1 year before the game. And you can actually play that in Cyberpunk Red. Because just FYI, Cyberpunk Red is running in the year 2045, if I recall correctly. It's the age of the Red, they call it. Huh? I'm sorry?
Technically, I feel like this Edge Runner bit is just basically the 2070s. So
Yeah,
because,
I
like,
know. No, but
yeah.
Cyberpunk Red itself, the base game,
Oh no, yeah,
is
I know.
based
This is
on
during-
2045 something. So basically, like, there's a lot of features that weren't there. Like, for example, you can't hack cyber limbs apparently in that game. I did not know that. So
what?
Oh,
in the original,
Yeah.
in the original game, there are like some limitations because technology have not advanced that far. But in 2077, so there are those new mechanics. So I'm wondering if they actually are going to add those new mechanics and everything to the Edge Runner setting that they are making right now. So that will be exciting.
yeah. Also, from what I've recalled playing Cyberpunk Red, the 2040s was during a more like post-nuclear detonation time in Night City.
That's true.
If you like read the lore or played the
Yeah.
game.
So it's less it's closer to kind of like a it's kind of like a little bit more grungier than your usual cyberpunk setting. There's a lot more night market stuff. There's not, there are still corporation, but it's a little bit more post-apocalyptic in terms of everything. It's almost as if they're copying our setting. Like, oh, we're copying them because we're a bit later actually. Now that I think about it.
Right.
But yeah, that is everything I have to report. So thank you very much for watching. Next, Aina.
I hope we're still streaming, but if we're not, it's okay because I'm recording, so nothing's lost. Anyway, yeah. So next we'll go to the next section. See.
No.
No, the audio has been dead for like solid 5 minutes or so.
Really?
I heard the music.
I heard the music,
I
but
did.
I didn't hear
Johnny
it.
Silverhand from Johnny
Hey,
Silverhand.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah, it's me, Johnny Silverhand. How are you guys doing? We got a city to burn.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So since Pirate's not here, we have the next best thing to cover him.
Johnny Silverhand.
himself. It's the man himself.
Come on, guys. We got a whole city to burn. So
So
first, if you want to play as me...
Oh,
Sorry,
I love
Chris,
your
what?
That's right, we got Keanu Reeves to star in our show.
Exactly. Thank you very much. You're breathtaking. Thank you very much, everybody. I sound like Elvis a little bit for some reason. I don't know.
Thank you very much.
I've always wanted to be a rocker boy like you, Mr. Johnny Silverhand.
No, it's all good. All right. So
Anyway.
I heard you want to be a rocker boy like me. Okay. So if you can see now, I snap my finger. I hope you can hear that. Make the screen big as I snap. Come on, you can do it.
And that's quite the issue. You have a metal hand, so
Oh,
it's
come on. Oh,
clicking as well.
Where's
screen go big, tongue. Screen go big, tongue.
like that.
I don't know what you were trying to do. I'm sorry.
All right, Johnny Silver. I used to be a veteran. I used to participated in the Fourth Corporate War as a Panzer boy, but I don't know what it sounded. I can't be him. I don't know how he sound like.
Just
But
the
usually,
original, cough
Johnny
a lot. I
Silverhand.
feel like that's his normal voice now.
Just swear a lot also.
Johnny Silverhand is a fucking soldier. He was participated in the fourth corporate wars, and then he participated in the samurai band and started singing to say "fuck you" to the corporation. But then they broke apart because Johnny's a dick. Like for reals, he's an asshole.
Completely accurate.
Like for example, he dated one of the character, Rogue, if you remember, who became a very famous fixer in the Cyberpunk 2077 game, and he cheated on her. That's why they broke up. And then he started dating Alt Cunningham, and then apparently when spoilers. So like when Johnny went into Arasaka to save Alt Cunningham when she was kidnapped, he pulled the jack out of her brain and everything, trying to save her, and then she immediately flatlined. She's actually still in there in the computer, but Johnny can't hear him. That's actually in this year. So
Hey, spoilers! Excuse me.
don't just spoilers.
Oh.
He just said.
The game's been
yeah.
out for like a gajillion years.
And
This
then-
is like
game too, so
the 2020 lore is not even the main
Exactly.
game lore.
Some people
So
are still
that-
like, no endgame spoilers, after years. So.
to that I say, Thanos. No, okay.
Okay, focus. So, in Cyberpunk, unlike D&D and everything, they don't have classes, they don't have, abilities or anything like that. Everything is based on your gear. So a lot of the abilities that we're going to give Johnny this time around is a little bit more to fit what equipment they carry. So scroll down a little bit, you can see that he has a couple of cybernetic, not much. First, he has a cyber eye and also infrared, which will allow him to see in the darkness. He can see in the darkness, and also if there's smoke or something like that, he can actually see through that darkness. And then he also have a Sandy, like our buddy David. So he has a Sandy Vestan and also a reflex booster, which allows him
does?
to move faster. He does have a Sandy Vestan and also a reflex booster.
The Fistan, doesn't they? Don't they?
Yeah. And just remember, the one that David has is like a military grade or something, so like the really high quality one. So other people do have it as well. Just FYI.
Yeah.
And then we also he has a cybernetic hand that has a recorder in it, because why not? And then his armaments, he carries his custom Malorian or something like that, the pistol called? I can't remember. Malorian arms. There you go. Malorian arms. That's his pistol. He also have the Arasaka Repel Assault, which is a shotgun. Rapid Assault, which is a shotgun, by the way. Not a machine gun, is an auto shotgun. And then we also have the MLK SMG. HLK SMG. That's just SMG. So, that's his basic gear. So let's start creating. So first, guys, guess what background are we gonna pick for Johnny's? What was the first thing? Let's go through the character creation method. Go. First one. You gotta pick.
Very pushy,
Yeah.
aren't we today?
Thanks. No, let's pick race. Okay, first race.
I mean, you can tell me
What-
which way you want to go. We don't have to go in.
No, we're going following the step by step race.
Okay.
What do you think his race should be?
Is it
We're
human?
variant human, honestly.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with boring variant human, to be honest, because specifically I want to get the alert feat, because in the Cyberpunk game, when you have the Sandy Vestan, it gives you a +2 or +3 to your initiative, and that's exactly what alert does. Gives you a +5 to your initiative. Very correct.
Sick.
Yeah.
I
so,
love when RPGs mingle.
Exactly. So for this one, the ability score, put it at his dexterity and charisma. These two that we need. Yeah, and skills, we gotta give him his. We're not gonna give it to performance. We're gonna give it to his intimidation,
Ooh.
because he's a dick, and that's how he intimidates people. So we're gonna give him intimidation, and then finally for languages, let's this is the surprising thing. Like, they don't list what languages he speaks, so I'm gonna put.
He
What was
speaks
it?
American.
What's the language of guns? Is this such
I
a
mean,
thing?
I think it's
Oh,
called
no, no.
street. The language like in the common in Cyberpunk Red, Cyberpunk
Yeah.
in general is called street. Street something I forgot. what
Yeah,
it's
it's like mannerism, something like that. But we're gonna pick. If your GM allows you, pick Thiefscan. Can you pick Thiefscan in this one?
Nope. It's not
No,
a
you can't pick Thiefscan.
language.
It's not a normal language. Yeah. Okay. Right. No. In the system that we use in the Foundry, we can. So we can't pick that. That's fine. We'll pick something else. Let's go with Let's say since he's always surrounded by kind of like gangster type people, let's go with dwarf. Because the dwarves that I meet in
Wait.
what do you call in Dragon
Okay.
Age is kind of like rough and tumble kind of type. So we're gonna go with that. All right. Next, for his background. Right now we're at background.
We can go background.
No, what's next? Oh,
Class.
class. Oh yeah, let's go background first. Okay, background. Can you guess what background would be suitable for him?
Probably soldier.
Soldier. That is pretty close, obviously, because he used to be a soldier.
Hero.
Gladiator.
But-
Yeah, probably
But
supposed to
given
be
that
soldier.
given that he is, a performer as samurai, that's his
You're
most recent activity,
right.
we're going to pick entertainer as his background.
He is a samurai first. Then he was a. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna give him because like the soldier history, he doesn't have the features a soldier would, because the soldier have like there's a ranking and everything. He doesn't give a shit about that. Instead, he's more of a
Yeah.
performer where he can perform at many places. People want him even though he's not with a label. So I think the idea of being able to stay at a place and getting and paying by only performing is perfect for him. And then for his musical equipment, of course, we're gonna pick a lute because he plays guitar, so we're gonna give him a lute. That's the closest to a guitar that we can get in D&D, I think. And everything will just keep as default. Let's move on. Next one. He has discussed it because he does edge running and then acrobatics and performance. Performance, obviously, he plays guitar. Acrobatics because he jumps around. Ability scores. Now for ability score, I'm gonna go with point by, obviously. I'm gonna put 15 and 15 on dexterity and charisma.
Whoa.
Why? Because he is actually a pretty good shot when you play him in the game. And charisma because as Johnny Silverhand, he's going to intimidate you and then guilt trip you and then gaslight you into doing what he.
Oh my god.
So charisma, because that's what he does.
Ugh.
And then we're gonna up his constitution. One second. Where is he? I have him right here. There you go. We're gonna up his constitution to 12 because he is a pretty tough kind of guy. He always takes a lot of damage when he fought a lot of characters in the game. And we're gonna give 11 to his strength because despite everything, he has that cybernetic arm, and we want to show his little bit strength in there. And we're gonna give it an 8. And then we're gonna give his wisdom a 10. Because despite his, rough and tumbleness, he still kind of get a good read on people. And intelligence because, well, he rushes into things and not exactly the
Yeah.
greatest learned Johnny.
Yeah, I agree.
There you go.
He's always the lead man. He's
So,
literally.
yeah, exactly. So we need that
Rock the boy.
charisma most importantly. And then, of course, he takes damage a lot as well. So we're going to have that
What about
charisma constitution
the
high.
variant human ability scores? What are we picking?
That's why I
for
said
this?
we're putting on
Dexterity
dexterity and charisma so that he has
Oh,
those
right,
both
sorry.
skill tip top.
Yeah.
All right, so that's ability score. And now finally, most fun part, class. What do you think I'm gonna pick for class?
Fighter.
Honestly,
Fighter.
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 Is it a fighter?
Good.
Is it
Is he a fighter?
I'm going to pick
barbarian?
Warlock.
No, I'm kidding.
paladin.
No.
Oh, shit.
Because okay, all right, and we're gonna take the oath of vengeance on this one.
Okay, I see it.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Because
Makes
okay,
sense.
I gotta read the oath of vengeance a little bit here. Let me Google it a little bit. Is it in there on the page?
You gotta go to
I
level
need-
3 first. So you just.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're just gonna go on first. Why? Okay. Because first, for his proficiencies, we're gonna give him. We're gonna pick athletics, and then we're gonna get persuasion if that's possible.
Yeah.
Very close principles. Yeah. So athletics, because obviously he runs a lot, he fights a lot, so he needs that strength, especially to fight Adam Smasher. Duh. And then persuasion, because despite his assholiness, he's somehow able to persuade people to do what he wants. Persuaded V, persuaded Rogue, persuaded Alt. Well, not the very end, but he is a very persuasive guy when he wants to be. And then what else? Next, after proficiency, the divine sense. That one's more like so that he can detect all the corrupt corpos all around him, so he'll be able to do that. To
He
detect
can
it.
see
Just
if
look at
it's
someone and immediately see how corrupted you are. And lay on hands. Lay on hands. That one's
Wow.
like,
Uh,
it's less to be used on other people and more to be used on himself, to buff him up, make him fight more as he is weakened and so on. So that's the very basic.
Oh wait, I just realized. I feel like even though he's a rocker boy, he's kind of lawful, so much chaotic that he's into lawful.
Yeah, like he has a set of principle that he follows. Yeah, I have it open right here. So, the tenets of vengeance. Fight
Wait,
the
we haven't
greater
gone
evil.
there yet. Hold on.
Oh yeah, we'll skip that one. Okay, alright. Next, level 2. Let's go.
Okay.
Level 2.
I'm going.
You're
Fighting
the
style.
stream is slow. Alright, okay. Fighting style. What do you think? What do you think we're gonna pick?
Is it
sorry?
archery? Archery, I'm guessing.
Archery would make sense, but I want to depict one of his cybernetics. I'm going to
Oh.
pick blind fighting.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What is
Because
this?
his cybernetic, his eyes is actually infrared, so he's able to see through smoke or like darkness or something like that
What?
with his eyes. That way, with blind fighting, even if he is in darkness or even if he is like shrouded in fog or something, he'll still be able to fight. Although, albeit in melee in this case, but he'll still be able to see through it.
Yep.
Damn.
You get
Exactly.
chromed, you get all the benefits.
Yeah. And then second level, he will get some spell casting as well. So for spell casting, at this point, second, I have it here. At this point, for level 1, we should have level 1 spell slots only. This one, we're gonna pick heroism to make him even more kind of tanky when he's fighting those really powerful people. And then we're gonna take protection from evil and good to kind of like make him tankier when he's fighting all these enemies and stuff.
It's right below heroism. You missed it.
I'm sorry? Oh, you got it?
Talk to Einon stream.
Okay. Alright, how many spells can we pick? 4?
4.
4. Okay, then we're gonna pick Steering Smite because, Smite. And the thing about this build, Johnny Silverhand is, actually most characters in Cyberpunk, is not a melee fighter. He's gonna be a ranged fighter. So he can't use the usual paladin spell slots to smite. However, with the D&D, with the spell smite, Searing Smite and everything, you only need to hit with a weapon attack. So with this, you'll be able to
Wait,
cast
it's
spells
a melee
and...
weapon attack.
Ah, shit! You're not gonna be able to do it then. I recall there's like one smite that you can use a weapon attack, but I need to check that. But yeah, take the smites as well, basically, to improve his power even more. Although it doesn't work for melee, this one's only for melee, so it does not work as well,
I
unfortunately.
mean, he has that like melee attack with his pistol in the video game, right? The badass flamethrower thing.
Wait, what?
Flamethrower?
I did not. I don't remember that at all.
All I
Spoiler,
remember is
but
his...
you play as him in the game. He has the
Yeah. Yeah.
flamethrower melee attack, where he just flamethrowers the guy out of his pistol. Yeah. It's
Oh,
really
I don't remember. I guess I never used melee because his gun is so awesome. So,
You should have tried the melee.
I always
so yeah,
always remember
Searing
him
Smite.
just his flexing, his flex out reload. That's what I always remember.
Yeah, the over the top spinny reload. That's awesome. But yeah,
Fucking
we're gonna take
spin the
Searing
magazine
Smite
up
to
and-
emulate that fiery strike that he has whenever he's melee. And next, so Thunderous Smite as well, because again, more melee, more spells to improve his damage. Let's move next. finally, at level 3,
Finally.
Right?
Yeah.
The one we're gonna talk about, we're gonna take, obviously, the Oath of Vengeance. Can you get Oath of Vengeance? Perfect. Can you see the tenet of the vengeance? I guess you can't. But it's okay. I can read it for you because you can't show it, right? Yeah, that's okay.
No, I just
So
not
basically,
sure.
the tenets of vengeance. One main thing is the first one is fight the greater evil. Obviously, he's all about like despite he being a rocker boy, it's just more like a tool. That's why I pick the background instead, because what he mainly does is fuck up Arasaka, fuck up all these big companies. So being a paladin, it kind of fits him basically. He has that one strict rule of fuck you corporation.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go that, and then no mercy for the wicked. Again, he never shows any mercy to his enemies. Whenever he fights, he is pretty brutal. And then by any means necessary. That one I feel like is really
Johnny.
depicts Johnny actually, because he is willing to kind of destroy himself and others, even his friends, just so that he can really achieve his goal, whatever it is. Usually something has to do with Arasaka.
Right?
Yeah, usually something to do with Arasaka. Nuke shit or destroy shit, whatever it is. Always, he's willing to do a lot, sacrifice a lot just to get his goal. And then, of course, he gets some oath spells, which is Bane and Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark will help him for that long-range shooting thing. And then his channel divinity is Abjure Enemy. This is to make creatures around you frightened. This is, sort of like Johnny Silverhand. He is a scary figure, an imposing figure where you meet him. And then, of course, Vow of Enmity, where you gain advantage on attack rolls against a creature for 1 minute. This one's more like his flavor, the one where he's like his anger when he does this, and he always like and kind of where Vow of Enmity just really putting all that anger, all that energy into that person. But yeah, that's it. I don't think this is a particularly optimized build, because this is a raged paladin, so not quite great. But the flavor wise, I think is really good for this character. And then at higher level, you should take 8 levels in crossbow expert, just something so that you can fire that crossbow, hand crossbow multiple times. But yeah, that is everything for me. What do you think about this build?
Hey, what's the name? You forgot to give him
Oh,
a
the
name.
name! Oh my god, yes. I feel like Johnny Silverhand is already very... Sorry, what?
Jack
Sorry, what?
Cyberpunk 2077.
What? Jack Cyberpunk?
Jack Cyberpunk, yes. Let's go with that.
What? 2077. No, this is so silly.
You did it, V. You've become Cyberpunk 2077. My favorite quote from the game. Parentheses, I've never played the game before.
What?
But yeah, this is the entirety of Bill. He's going to be very good at his persuading, intimidation, and also pretty handy with that pistol. So that'll be great.
And
But
that's
yeah,
your
that-
DM to let you smite with range attacks.
Yeah. Oh, if you can do that, that'll be great. But I'm trying to go rules as written over here. But as a DM, I would definitely allow. So yeah, that's everything. What do you think about the build? Yay, nay? Would you try it? Would you not try it? What do you think?
It's a yeah, I love paladins.
Yeah.
And
Paladins
if
are
you
cool.
would let me smite from afar, even better.
Yeah, if you can spy from afar, that'd be great.
I personally have never played a paladin. I
Wow.
have. I think an Oath of Ancient is one of them.
Okay, the defense one, yeah. I mean, like, go ahead, like, feel free to flavor. I just like the idea, like the paladin. The idea of paladin is like someone who's bound to his oath. So like, it's not necessarily to a god, but more like whatever he's really striving for. In this case, to really, really hate the corporation. So I think it's just perfect for him. I guess another one you could go for what was it? Barbarian fighters work too, but I think the paladin, because it can take advantage of his charisma as well in there. But yeah, that's
Other than
everything from me.
Possibly, like, I guess the question is why put in dexterity when you're gonna go for a strength as a paladin?
Huh?
Oh, range.
Oh, guns. Yeah.
Range. Right.
That's why.
And sneaky attacks paladins are a thing. And
Oh my
Wait,
god.
sneak attack paladins? What do you mean?
This
well,
thing-
just sneak attack, smite. I mean,
Oh.
further.
Yes, I guess.
Oh, you can flavor your smite as just a sneak attack. That could work too. Yeah.
I guess.
I'm
But
surprised
I mean,
they have hunters.
primarily, it's
Right?
just imagine
Not
imagine you're just vibing, and a paladin rogue sneaks up on you, and sneak attacks you, crits you,
With the
and
power
then
of gods.
smites you. Yeah,
Yeah.
just pulverize someone in one hit.
Remind me of
I-
Leliana from Dragon Age. Perfect.
I realize paladins literally just turn their conviction into power.
Yeah,
And that's just
essentially.
every anime protagonist. I just realized.
Yes.
It's my favorite
I
thing.
don't like that realization. It makes paladins look even more cringier now that I realize.
You're
There's
so
a
edged
reason.
that your edge becomes a power.
That's the reason why, like, usually the horror stories are from paladins, the
Yeah.
lawful good. Hey, speaking of
The
horror
anime.
stories, why don't we go to
Oh.
the next section?
Nice.
Smooth segue. We really need to fix the transitions.
Also, Ren, you
Also-
need to reinvent the music bot probably.
Wait, no, I was gonna say that. Hold on.
Get
I was
quick
gonna
draw.
do it so cool and everything.
Uh,
Anyway, well, we're in the session now, well, story wouldn't be good if it. Never mind. I was gonna do this whole thing like, hey, before we start, we gotta have some music, so let me summon Arya from another world. Never mind, it's cringy.
Okay, alright, my bad.
Nothing. Anyway, so this week's story. Speaking of paladin, let's try not to make the Johnny that we made into a horror story paladin, because this one is
Oh,
about
God.
one certain paladin. So today's story comes from r/RPG horror stories by user Drakayan. I'm not sure. Title:
Drakayan.
Players burn the body of that character to stop him from being resurrected. Yeah. So just to preface, if my party finds this post, like, folks, if you find this post, I fully don't care. That was a dick move. What the hell? So I think you can assume what was the dick move here.
Yay.
So here OP says, last week I failed as a dungeon master. 2 weeks ago, in session 5 of our campaign, a party member, Ranger, died to some mechanical birds in a dungeon, and we ended the session with everyone leaving the dungeon having saved the body. We pick up the next week playing on a different day from usual because one player couldn't make our usual day. The only person who couldn't make the day was the ranger who was dead. So I said, alright, we'll play this on this day, and you folks can try to find a way to resurrect the ranger. So we played a session, opening combat goes fine. I haven't had much time to prep this campaign at all, and specifically this session, but it was alright. I have ideas in place, just trouble of thinking how to get from A to B. So after the combat, the party goes to head back to camp, and before this next part, I have to mention at some point during the session, the paladin randomly decided to go on a short tangent about how he really doesn't like the ranger or his character. I and everyone else mostly brushed it off, but after a few of us thinking, WTF, that wasn't okay, along with a few other things. He had also started his tangent with, guys, don't tell ranger or tell him I don't really care, and this is on the recording. Just a side note, Ever consented to having our sessions recorded and privately uploaded in session 0. So, now as the party's heading back to camp, the paladin says, you know, guys, Ranger didn't really do much for us. Wanna just dump his body somewhere? And no one really argued. I thought it was just a joke. When the party gets back to camp, the human fighter decided to take the ranger's body and throw potatoes into a fire before setting the corpse near it and praying to their chaotic evil famine god to resurrect him. After that didn't work, the elf fighter suggested as a joke it didn't work because they didn't put the ranger on the fire. Human fighter then decided to do that. I was so surprised I didn't know what to do or think that I could just say no. So I made them roll a strength check to move the body. They failed, and then they decided to just get a torch out and start lighting the body just like that. I expected they would realize it wasn't working and stop, but I was oh so stupid and wrong. The elf fighter even did a bunch of math for how long the corpse could survive on the fire. And I failed as a dungeon master by letting these idiots just continue to burn the corpse. Like, it's obvious it wasn't going to work, but they just burned the body. I even directly gave them the chance to go do a quest for some magic nobles to get the ranger resurrected, and the paladin said, "Nah, those guys are assholes. Let's not do anything for them." After that, I made the human fighter tell the ranger they burned his body, and he hasn't said anything to them but is effing pissed and legit wants to just kill all the characters. I mean, fair. I let him get resurrected by those magic nobles, but there was even talk of him coming back as a revenant who swore revenge on the party. And by the way, during all this, the warlock did literally nothing. I feel that's a dungeon master, and honestly, I think this campaign is going to explode because of it. At least it's not as bad as our last campaign. So, there's still a few edits here, and I think it ended okay. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not done yet, guys. But I think the worst part of it's over. I'm not sure. I haven't read fully all the updates. So
Fingers crossed.
yeah, basically there's a bunch of TLDR here, and OP said he's going I assume it's a he going to have a chat with everyone tomorrow, and I'll update this post with how that goes. So, edit 3 is what happens next. Instead of discussing everything all at once tomorrow, I'm starting with private discussions with each party member before we do a group discussion afterwards. I, of course, spoke with Ranger first, then I spoke with Human Fighter. To sum up, Human Fighter believes his character would do that in character, and out of character, he did it because it was funny, his own words. I asked how he would feel if someone did it to his character, and he replied he would not care. When I opened his discussion saying I needed to talk to him about D&D, he said, "You still salty about me burning the body?" He seemed to agree not to do any more PvP, but I'll be watching. And if things ended badly with the rest of the group, I'll cancel the campaign. Also added some updated context that slipped my mind that I found through watching the recording. The elf fighter suggested burning the body as a joke, and then the human fighter did it. And in terms of our ranger and paladin assholes, I was not aware of any issues anyone was having with them currently. Though I know during character creation, elf fighter was getting annoyed at paladin for constantly asking to link up backstories. The only other issues there would be is I wasn't fully ready to start this campaign yet when we started it. But I decided to begin underprepared because Warlock really wanted the campaign to start. And because I really wanted to play D&D again, especially after our previous campaign was tainted further. I'm really curious what this previous campaign was.
That's another post there.
I feel like there's a lot of unsaid and unresolved resentment between some of the party players.
Like the group itself doesn't look
There
like
was
a tight-knit one.
that's why the paladin was already so sour to the ranger. Probably, I
Yeah.
don't know. Can't say. I'm just saying what I can.
Yeah, what we think. Yeah.
So the next edit is the actual group discussion. So OP spoke with the party, and there is one big key detail that was missed with Paladin. He thought Human Fighter was a cleric attempting to use divine intervention. He thought it could actually work. Human Fighter always talk about their potato god and has not used any specific fighter abilities, leading Paladin to believe Human Fighter was a cleric. Additionally, looking back on the recording, his rant wasn't as bad as a member of the party was making it sound, and though he was still out of pocket to say that, his reasoning was because Ranger was playing more of a lone wolf character. He doesn't actually have any issues with Ranger. So Ranger is going to try and be less of a lone wolf, and Paladin's going to be better about dead players. Additionally, we had a group chat about members of the party being passive, and the party is going to stop splitting up for no reason. The reason Warlock didn't do anything is because he didn't leave the wagon and assumed everyone had gone off to a different area. And Elf Fighter didn't do anything because they haven't been in the group as long and didn't think they had any right to try and stop someone else from doing something. So we made sure they know they are a full member of the party just like everyone else, and if someone in the party is doing something effed up, they can speak or act to stop them. Final update. Session went well, party stayed together, and Ranger has forgiven the party in and out of character. The real idiots here were just me and Human Fighter, but we've had a talk and things should be alright for the future, now that we've reconciled all our issues in the party. PvP is now fully banned without consent, and the party is staying together instead of splitting up at dungeons. Glad things had a happy ending, though I'm still going to be watching Human Fighter.
This
Yeah.
Power of
such-
talking to people, talking like adults.
Yeah.
This is literally like every telenovela. Like literally, you just need to talk to this person, and every issue would be solved.
A lot of misunderstanding, like from, I mean, I guess Fighter being the potato god and famine, I can see how they turn it into a joke. Like I could
Honestly, I don't like that. I feel like he's making a joke. I don't care much. Let's just potato god, blah blah blah. That's
Yeah.
I agree with the GM. Kind of like being wary about that particular player. Basically, I understand having thin backstory, and I know like just making a joke. Jokes are funny for one shot. That's why if you guys play one shot, I don't mind you guys playing fucking anime characters and whatnot in there. But if you play a campaign, that's gonna stop being funny after the first 2 sessions.
Yeah.
I prefer that's why regardless if you give me a thin backstory, I'm gonna thicken it up a little bit. But yeah, that's just me.
So actually, the paladin is not the problem player. The possible problem player is Fighter. I don't know. Like, okay, I guess it makes sense for paladin to think Fighter was a cleric, considering he keeps talking about this god and he never
God,
used any
yeah.
fighter specific ability. But
Yeah.
now I'm wondering like if Fighter even knows how to play D&D. Like not knows how to play, because like if you don't use any of the fighter specific ability, then like
And this also takes place where the cleric should be able to cast divine intervention, right? So it's pretty high level.
Yeah, exactly. It's level 10 at least.
it's
So
level 5.
I
They're
don't.
level 5. And then this is 5th session, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure what level they are actually.
I mean, it could be. It's a 5th session. Maybe they start at a high level campaign. Maybe possible.
be.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Mm.
But yeah, Human Fighter, sus. Paladin, I think I think the first post does paint him in a bad light, but
Yeah.
apparently he was just joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what, like, one of the main thing. Like, you can play whatever character you want in a D&D party, but I think it's really important that the group understands that you're going to be friends. You're not going you can have conflicts, but you're not going to be enemies. Basically, within the parties, that's something that you have to keep in mind. That's like the issue with Skillian Rogues, the namesake of the campaign. Like, the group isn't really a party. It's just a
Yeah.
collection of people traveling together. There was like hostilities in there and everything. While there was no PvP, there were hostilities in the group, and it felt like enemies traveling together, which is not fun. When in the end, when everybody agreed, we're gonna start a new campaign, blah blah blah, then we started actually acting like friends, acting like a party
Yeah.
member, and have fun. So I
Like,
think that's a
we've
very
been
important
going-
component.
We've been going 2 years and a half strong, basically, because of that.
Yeah.
Because it is very important for the party in character to actually want to stick together rather than just traveling because hey, strength in numbers, yeah, like, because else there's no reason for your character to stay with the party. Like, once you get strong enough, you can be like, okay guys, ciao, I'm gonna go do other stuff.
Honestly, yeah.
So
And that's
honestly, I'm just so stuck up about the potato god and how the DM would let this slide.
Sounds like he's a new DM, but
yeah, sounds like he's more of a like, what the F is happening? Like, I don't even know what to do here. So, like, I guess
Yeah.
it's another thing where you're underprepared, so you're not sure as well. I guess you kind of like,
underprepared, to be honest, is fine.
No, because
Like, I've
like,
been under.
you're like you've been DMing for a while, but like you said, if he's a new DM, then
Yeah.
yeah, like all this, like what are they trying to do? Sometimes you just let it and then see like, wait a minute, this is going bad. Shit, shit, shit. You know what I mean? I've had
Yeah, I
times
guess,
like
I
that
guess.
where I'm like, oh shit, this is not
Should I
what I
intervene?
planned.
Should I intervene?
Should I let this happen? Like you know, so
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the tales today. Maybe we'll have a better one next week. Ha ha ha.
That's pretty good. This is a pretty good story.
Is it? Okay.
Glad it didn't
Yeah.
end terribly.
It ended better than most.
Yeah, better than most.
Yeah. So takeaway from this one is, hey, if there's an issue, just talk it out. Get to a level of understanding with everybody. You know, sometimes it's just stupid misunderstandings and no one actually meant malice, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, let's go to the next section.
My favorite.
No, starting from the third image, it will skip into the last one.
Yeah, it's getting better. It failed, but it's still there. Hello, everyone.
Also, I'm not sure if like if we talk over it, the audio will.
Oh
Still
yeah,
play
you
or
can
not.
you can hear us talking while the intro's playing.
Yeah, they definitely heard our comments.
I see. Well,
Yeah, it's fine. We talk over each other's as well, but it's fine. Hello everyone, welcome to Homebrew Highlights, where we take a deep dive across the interweb to find out homebrew delights. Let's see what's cooking. Need to slash through a slog of enemies, and you can't figure out what to do with the bodies afterwards? Playing this sort of cryptoid, gravedigger, or like this PC, and you want a cooler weapon than, I don't know, something cooler than an axe or a sword. Honestly, an axe would be pretty cool. Well, but not. Now you can come with a table with a better and much prepared alternative, the chain shovel. A beautiful, quite simple, uncommon weapon. Can be flavored for any weapon, but the creator of this fine and dandy item chose for it to be an axe. It's a magical weapon, requires attunement, whatnot. You can check out the creator of this fine dandy weapon on r/D&D Homebrew. It was made by... Oh no, I don't have it on hand. Oh, where is it?
Loot Tavern.
Loot Tavern. Yeah, sorry. You can. I think he has his. Yep, he has his own Reddit user interface, whatnot. He has a Patreon. Go check him out. I saw some of his other homebrew items. Pretty neat stuff. Anyway, let's continue on with the chain shovel. A bit of background lore given to us by the creator. Apparently, the chain shovel was made by the dwarves to counter the elves, as they have been supposedly waging a war between one another. So take that canon if you will. Being the genius, scheming people they are, the dwarves designed the chain shovel to literally undermine all the elves' defenses, foliage, and like any like sort of tapestry to hide themselves, and take away their terrain advantage by literally
Nice.
cutting down the trees and roots that they hide upon. And I just
my
love
God.
the idea, and it's really good. Again, it's quite a simple weapon. There's no stats here because it says on the item list you can flavor it for any weapon. It's recommended for it to be an axe. So you go ahead and choose to decide where you want this item to be placed upon. The DM can also do this for enemies. Also, I guess a DM can add this for an enemy stat block. So take it as you will. Anyway, let's go into the nitty-gritty of this weapon. The chain shovel will give any player who attunes and wields this weapon 3 abilities, 2 which are normally one that is locked out before you activate a separate ability. So the first ability that this weapon gives out is Chain Rip. As a bonus action, once you hit a creature with the weapon, you can mentally command the saw-toothed blade to activate, revving up the chain shovel and dealing an additional D4 slashing damage. Other than that, before you can make an attack, you can choose to either use that bonus action for Overdrive, which is for 1 minute, so 10 rounds, your blade the sawtooths of the blade would be activated for that amount of duration of the time, and any attacks you made deal an additional D6 damage, 1d6 slashing damage. But afterwards, you are locked out of the overdrive after that 1 minute period. But you're also allowed to still use chain rep after, but not while using overdrive. So it's like a choice between either you want to activate it while you're attacking, or you want to rev it up and then like have this continuous additional d6 point of damage. Also, the given ability, this unlockable ability after activating overdrive is the special action called Shovel Spray. As an action, while in overdrive mode, you can ram the weapon into a solid surface and send a spray of shrapnel to whatever variety of the ground towards a 15-foot cone. Each creature in the cone must make a DC 13 saving throw, Dex saving throw, I believe, is it? Yeah, or be blinded. If failed, they will be blinded until the end of their next turn, of the user's next turn.
Actual pocket sand, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like, it kind of makes sense, you know? It's literally like those excavators at that point where it just digs up and pushes whatever terrain outward. So, yeah.
I'm all for this, honestly. I really like this.
Yeah, I picked out something quite unique.
The fact it's a shovel has already sold me. Like, just seeing the picture, I was like, yes, okay.
Shovel Knight, let's go.
Play a more gritty Shovel Knight.
And then it's got like a whole mechanic with bonus actions and 1 minute thing, and also a fucking breath attack weapon. Hell yeah.
It's perfect. I guess my only comment is just that it's uncommon. I feel like they said these are rare. It has to be like a barely a rare, I think. But otherwise, I really like the design. It's flavorful. It's multi-purpose. Just the flavor of it. I just love the flavor. Just can you imagine this guy hitting someone and just activating a chainsaw, just ripping into his armor. Oh, so good.
Oh, also the DM, not the DM. The creator leaves it up to whoever's intending to use it to stat out whatever weapon you're gonna make the chain shovel be. You can make it a normal sword even if you don't want it to be an axe. So it's still like, also again, homebrew it's an add-on and it's not always adhere. You can always balance things out. Talk with your DM to discuss what do you think if the ability is too OP or something like that. And that's the chain shovel. Thanks for visiting the shop. That's all for me.
Yeah, that's yeah. If there's no further comment, let's put on our caps and go to school.
Audio is so laggy, I don't know when we're starting.
Yeah, we're starting now. No.
Oh shit.
Now we are.
Hello and welcome to the DM Academy, where we learn about all things dungeon mastery and perhaps even game mastery, some would say. So please have your seats. The class is now in session. And today, we're talking about, as the title says over there, masks we wear. More specifically, as game masters, all kinds of NPC voices, personalities,
God.
all stuff like that. Rain can relate. It can be overwhelming. Obviously, I'm not going to talk at great lengths about this because we, turns out, don't have 2 hours for this segment.
Aww.
But What we can do is probably, see where our heads are at, how we imagine NPCs and how they work, and perhaps we can learn from each other on this one. So, bearing that in mind, when designing an NPC, which stands for non-player character for all of those who are uninitiated, which if you are, why are you here? But hi, welcome. So, again, we'll do the whole from least Dungeon Master experience to most. Asking you, what is the one thing that you imagine kind of makes an NPC unique, interesting, exciting, realistic, whatever you want to go for? So, what about you?
Should I maybe like list out my favorite NPC I've ever met in a while?
Let's start with that. Yeah. What is your favorite NPC?
Oh wow.
Not just our game, any game.
Yeah, like the sad thing is I've never really connected with an NPC that much a bit so far.
Rain. Ooh.
Yeah, you're failing as a DM, my man. I
I'm
literally
kidding.
don't give a
Excuse
crap
me.
about any of these people.
Excuse me, I don't think it's DM's fault though. If you played with a lot of
It's definitely a meeting. It's definitely a meeting. It's not because it's not immersive or anything, but I still like there's this subtext layer of like, oh wow, this is just again an NPC in the game where there's other people involved. I'm much more interested in developing relationships between their player characters than the NPCs most of the time. So it's kind of not like again, I guess this is why I'm a player. I don't understand these shites yet, but I guess maybe the most likable NPC I've ever encountered was in this other game I've ever played in. It was a short-lived one, but then thankfully we had a fun time in it. It was basically what Strixhaven was before Strixhaven. So imagine Strixhaven, but everyone's a furry.
Okay.
We're gonna bounce the furry part, but then there was this professor that basically was teaching class, class, I guess, a class on classes, and
Can't
he's like the general. No, he's basically the like general teacher, I guess, the one that teaches the basics of a subject and whatnot, and the DM somehow always made him very warm and friendly and a very endearing person. To each their own. Everyone's favorite NPC could be something different. Maybe there's like a background related reason, whatnot. But I always find like NPCs that have a synergy with my player character and me as a player is always the ones that I find more interesting. I
Well,
guess.
of course, yeah, it's a very personal experience, and yeah, it's a standard way of thinking about it, I think. So yeah, you're not being judged here or anything.
It's more
Yeah,
like what
sorry.
makes it has a synergy with you, you know, like
Yeah,
what
so
you
I
want
guess
all in
about that,
traits.
For me, I think for the player context also, it was this warm sense of like kinship and responsibility between the player and whatnot. Like when I was talking or like RPing with this NPC, it's always on the basis like in the context of the game, it always felt authentic, I guess. Like it's genuinely a conversation. I can see my player character who I understand as their emotion, thoughts, and whatnot, is would definitely see them interact this way, and it sort of naturally evolved the characters like point of view, outlook, and on everything and whatnot. I guess.
Okay. So for you, the most important thing was like, how do I say this? Relatability, I guess, with the character.
Yeah, I
Understand.
guess synergy. Like some people can't communicate with other people or like don't vibe that much. So I
Yeah, of
guess
course.
yeah.
I mean, it's also a good mark of a good dungeon master or game master is to be able to have NPCs who don't mesh with your character, who aren't like generally agreeable, which obviously can feel very wrong, but some people just don't mesh with each other and don't ever want to talk to each other, which it's cool if it's an NPC. It can be a problem if it's two PCs in a game. But I get where you're coming from, totally. And also, thank you for your answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry again. Even though it's been 4 years playing D&D, I still need a lot to learn.
I don't worry about it. I asked my my group who their favorite NPC was after 2 years of playing, and one of their answers was this one NPC that he created, the player, who hasn't been introduced in the
Of
game.
course, it's the lore NPC.
He wasn't even introduced in the game. He was just a background NPC that existed somewhere out there. And
Oh
might have
my
been dead.
god! Wow.
You know, I wanted to do that, but then I
That's
realized
sad.
that's not like part of the game yet.
Hurts,
No,
man.
I haven't even interacted with any of my background NPCs yet.
Yeah.
If that were to happen, I would have maybe given that example. But I'd say generally it's an NPC that vibes well with the character is definitely why I can say is a good NPC. I guess
Which is the report. Yeah, completely
good
understandable.
NPC is NPC that vibes well. Is-
NPC is
Summarized.
NPC that I like.
yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for your answer. How about you, Aina? Do you have a favorite NPC from all the campaigns you ever played in?
Oh god. So a little
Where do you
backstory.
start?
I mean, that's the thing. Where do I begin?
How many
Because-
time do you have? How much time?
Not a lot, but the thing is, like when I first started D&D, I was having a bit of a problem connecting with other player characters, because well, when I started, like I'm playing with this bunch of like randoms online, and like they're all men some more, and I have the worst androphobia. So like I don't know how to talk to men more than just like, okay, we need to do this, let's do more than just like how do you
Planning.
say, yeah, like planning stuff, like work stuff, you know what I mean? So
More than surface. Yeah.
yeah. So, but somehow, the DM was an exception, and I was telling him like I don't know how to role play better, something like that. He was like, if you can't if you can't connect with the PCs, why don't try the NPCs? So from then on, it's just been like a lot of like interacting with NPCs and just being weird and everything, and seeing how they react, which is like fun because I like to be the weird character doing the weird things. But
You're not
um,
wrong.
She's right.
but okay, here's the thing. I know there's a difference between NPCs that I'm attracted to and NPCs that are my favorite, but I feel like they're one and the same. And I have a time in which, like, they had to be the most emotionally unavailable NPC.
So the emo boy.
The emo voice, to which my character, who I would usually play somewhat upbeat and bubbly, I would always go and like, hey, so what you doing? And just be like, I don't know. It's been the same with like Kiri. Now newest is Nepia. Then Rex in the other campaign, who was just the edgy emo prince. And the first.
Ren is just writing notes right now, making sure he's developing a NPC to conflict between Ada's interests.
That's the thing. Like, if you throw me an
Stopper.
edgy emo boy or girl, or like just as long as they're attractive, I'm gonna jump on that for some reason. I have no idea. I don't know why. Because the first NPC that I've ever like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm attracted to this NPC, was
You had an
basically a
awakening?
red devil guy who wanted my soul.
I mean, that's understandable. I think that's everyone's type, though.
Which is like
Right?
which is like open up
I-
things that I don't know about myself, and I was like, shit, what is going on here? Damn.
I've never romanced an NPC once. Never.
You should
Not
try.
yet. I'm sorry, DM. None of them are interesting enough.
Great guys, blink heavily and utter some words, and it'll be great. Trust me.
No, I can't show my weakness yet. If Rain knows the type of NPC that I like, he's gonna abuse it.
Is it
Very-
I'm just wondering, is it because like you can't see the NPC as a real character as compared to like PCs? Because like
I don't.
yeah, because you said you prefer PCs in which like they all have like different voices and different characters that are always the same every time you talk to them as compared to NPCs when like a DM can like forget the voice that he used or something like that.
Yep.
I wonder if
Yeah.
that's the case. Have you ever thought about that?
No. I think it's just generally me as a person. Oh wow, do I want to say this on the internet? I don't know if I'm not. It's not. What's the word? That's not interested in any gender. What's that term?
Asexual,
Asexual. I don't know, but I find people hot, but then I don't find any like lovey-dovey
Attractive.
feelings or like puppy eyes to
Yeah.
anyone.
That's fair.
It's not Rain's not putting the effort. No, Rain's doing good with the NPCs. It's just that I actually don't like to vibe that much, and then like, no, I just see them as a normal character, I guess. Yeah.
That sounds like a romantic, if I'm correct
Yeah.
in this.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think so.
But hey,
Because he thinks it's hot. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I guess that's a me thing. That's a me thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's valid. That's okay.
to be honest, I mean, D&D is not a dating game. I know.
Yeah.
Stop it! It is to me, okay? I'm sorry. I gotta play my romance
kidding.
novel somewhere. You know what I mean?
Completely understand.
raiding dungeons, defeating dragons.
The
Nah,
best.
that's the
Hey,
subplot.
that's exactly, exactly. You do all of this just to get to the best part, which is the romance.
Everyone gets
Uh,
something out of it, and we all find out something about ourselves through the game, which is what makes it so
Exactly.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying I can't wait to develop this sort of like, oh, my player character is loving an NPC. I can't wait for that moment, but I haven't reached it yet. So
Yeah.
I can't relate, my guy.
It takes a while, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we are kind of pressed for time, let's ask the final person before I go on a tangent, which is Rain.
Mhm.
How about you? Do you have a favorite NPC? I mean, you've been
Oh,
stuck
dear.
forever GMing for
Yeah.
several years now.
See, the thing, like, I don't have any like particular character that I'm like, oh, I really want to play this guy or something like that. It's more just I have these situations that I want to put my NPCs in and the player to react to it, something like that. You know, it's I guess what I like is more the moments rather than the character themselves, which may be a problem unto itself, or there's a different way of GMing. But there are moments basically that I want to get basically. In terms of characters, I like playing all of them to be honest. I don't have any favorites, so yeah. I just like playing D&D, man.
What about favorite characters from other people's campaigns or from media even? Critical Role, for example? Anything there?
I like Tragic Backs.
Tragic
So
Backs.
Caleb Widowgas.
Ah,
But that's
If
an
he
NP.
fi-
That's a PC.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't have any particular like I like tragic backstories, and then like when they wallow in their backstory and when they wallow in the tragicness of it, and then try to be better and everything. Those are the ones that I really like.
You say critical role NPC, and then I realized, damn, Essex is hot. But then like, is this more of a sexual thing, or is this like, do I actually would imagine? I actually love that NPC.
But yeah, not an NPC, but I like the PC because it's more like the whole tragic backstory and everything like that,
You
and
see,
how he coped with it. Like he's a troubled character, and he wants to be like better. That's feel like the archetype I like.
you see
That's
why
probably
we're
my
so
favorite.
well suited. I like the tragic backstory. I like the tragic evil characters, and he likes to
likes to
make.
yeah.
They're gonna have always one emo character in the campaign, then always.
Oh my
That's like the
God.
standard. What do you call it? Like one of the things you should do when making an NPC is that it's like straining their leashes, kind of. Which is what you mentioned at the start, that you like putting them in scenarios to see how they would react. Which is a very good aspect. Just you have to like not focus on it too hard, because then it feels
Yeah.
like
The
PCs are
NPCs, the
NPCs
main
in their story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's tricky. It's a very tricky balance, which you pull off usually.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's that they have to have their own agents. They're not just sitting around in their room waiting for the PC to arrive, right? Like,
Yeah.
and if it's something as simple as when you show up to their house, they're not there. They're out buying groceries, right?
Mm-hmm.
That simple thing, it's still something. Or you come back, they have a new scar. Like, where'd you get that? Oh, I was fighting.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, if you ask me, like, what makes an NPC real? Like, to me, it's motivation. Like, they need to have a goal, long term of like wanting to become a king, or a short term of I need to buy grocery this evening. So like even when you have that goal, the NPC will write itself basically when they're interacting with the PC.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, thank you for your answer. So, some advice I could possibly, hopefully give for how to make NPCs more memorable.
Yes, Professor.
It is. That will never not be weird, and I work as a teacher. It's the George R. R. Martin approach. Now, hear me out. How do I put this? The goal is to introduce NPCs and to get good at that, right? So you can't really do that by overwhelming yourself by throwing 50 NPCs at the same time. So a good approach to that kind of story is to kind of trickle them in. Let's say 1 or 2 NPCs every session, which should give you enough time to develop them while you're prepping, right? So you introduce them, you give them very clear identity. So think of George R. R. Martin's writing, right? It's like every character has something that stands out immediately. And then you can kill them afterwards. You don't want to flood your game with too many NPCs, which is the problem I have. I can't kill my poor little meow meows. It's just impossible.
Meow meows.
I could kill them, and I'll just kill a bunch later as you get closer to the end. It'll be okay with you.
No!
Oh, don't kill Grandma Shibale, no!
He's a very vulnerable NPC, just saying.
Ooh.
Okay, we have to make a goal that one player develops a relationship with Kay and then learns how to drive the train.
As a tangent, are we stupid? She's blind. We can give her cyber eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm saying
cyber eyes.
What she want?
Anyway.
You can actually do that. Yeah, that'll be the perfect.
It's very
gift for her.
expensive though. Have you seen how much it costs?
Well, if somebody with cyber eyes dies, we can take them off of them, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
That is
She didn't get it.
Wait, don't kill Nempia. No, stop! That's different. That's not cyber eyes. That's drone eyes. Okay, that's not the same.
Eyes.
Anyway, for NPC traits, there are 10, which you can kind of incorporate into any NPC, which will actually help you kind of build their own backstories, their stories, their mannerisms and roleplay all around. So like one of these 10 should be good, right? You have the manner of appearance, which is, as you might imagine, you know, how they look, what race they are, do they have any notable tattoos, scars, etc. Because each of those will tell a story further, and even how they grew up depending on their, you know, race. That's one thing. Manner of speech makes way more iconic characters, which as a game master you will have to do stupid voices and embarrass yourself, but over time you get better at it, and then they call you a voice actor, which I have yet to reach. For now I'm just stuck doing dumb voices for 3 years, but that's okay. You have their manner of behavior, which can be, well, how they act. Do they swing their arms around when they talk a lot? Because if you do these things while you're voice acting a character, it can really go through that microphone and really sell it to your players. Like, when I played this hyperactive kid, I was actually standing over my desk and jumping around as I was talking, getting out of breath, and it sold the party perfectly on the kind of character he is. Then 4 and 5 are combined, which is a mental and spiritual traits. I hope I don't have to explain this. Actually, I don't have to explain this, right? Mental traits, spiritual traits. You get it. job or duty, because everybody does something. Nobody sits around waiting for PCs to show up. Then you have their relationships with PCs and also other NPCs, because no man is an island. These are surprisingly important, and not a lot of people think about them, but having NPCs that are siblings of other NPCs, or...
It's just a nice touch, basically.
Yeah.
When the
world
NPC
building,
discovered that. Yeah.
Like, in my campaign recently, the party discovered that one of the NPCs is actually just a cousin, a niece of a different NPC from like the first session or something.
Oh,
It's like,
wow.
cool, you guys that's awesome. Like, you live 2 towns apart, and yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it's just a neat little touch.
Mm.
Then you have their goals, which, like you said, short term, buy groceries, long term, become king. And finally, their role in the story, which is often overlooked when introducing NPCs. They have, no, they don't have to have. You don't need an elaborate backstory for, John the Baker. But if you want to make them notable, you usually want to have them have some involvement. Maybe John the Baker has sold bread to the King of Thieves, and as such, know this guy's face. Go talk to him. It can be as simple as that. And that's.
Wait, if he's the king of thieves, why didn't he just steal the bread?
Well, because
he has
He's
class.
he's supporting local economy. You see.
He's still from
So he's a
other
just
country.
king.
And here's how the story develops. He's supporting local economy, and the baker is kind of having a hard time paying for all of his expenses because he lost his wife, and his poor sick daughter is, well, sick and needs medicine. So he's working really hard, and the king noticed that. Boom! You have 2 NPCs with
with cool backstories and everything. Yeah.
I like how you just pull that out of your ass. Damn, I could never do that. I
That's
could
just
never.
practice. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
And by the way, in my prep, this is 1 out of 5 points I was gonna make. So instead of going on a long ass tangent, maybe we can continue this next time.
Ooh.
And I will
Ooh.
wrap up
Part two.
this segment for now. Thank you all for coming to class. You've all been wonderful. 8+ is all around, and I'll see you next week.
Ooh. Yeah, to that we'll see everyone next week actually, because hey, we're done. Bye.
Have a great one, guys. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Toodaloo.